Welcome to the Audi A7, or more specifically, the Audi A7's infotainment system.
Infotainment systems are getting more integrated, more intelligent, and therefore more complex. So we thought, why not review how an infotainment system performs? Because, let's face it, we spend a lot of time with them.
Realistically, how easy is it to pair your phone, make a call, pick a song, or navigate to where you need to go? Let's find out. So, what do we have here?
The A7 comes with Audi's excellent virtual cockpit, which is just a clever name for a display screen instead of traditional dials, but we'll get to what this can do later. The centre console, while looking stunning with its gloss piano black surfaces while the car is off, features these two high-definition touchscreens that control, well, pretty much everything besides steering and braking. The steering wheel is covered in controls, but not in some haphazard, someone vomited buttons all over the wheel kind of way. Again, we'll get back to what all this does later.
First up, pairing a phone via Bluetooth and via a cable for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you're one of those non-Apple kind of people. But look, what you're about to see is genuinely my first attempt at pairing my phone to the A7, so let's do this. Go telephone, connecting your phone, just make sure my Bluetooth is on. It is. New connection. Waiting, oh, there it is. iPhone, pair, connected. How good's that? Successfully connected? Excellent. Now with that out of the way, what is Audi's MMI Virtual Cockpit? What does it do, and more importantly, is it easy to use?
Virtual Cockpit has been around for a couple of years now, and this, the latest version, is as impressive as it was when it landed back in 2016. Replacing the traditional dials with a TFT screen allows you to configure the display to feature what you need most, when you need it most. Obviously, it's easy to check your speed and revs, but you can also add map and navigation information, playlists, phone calls, car setup and safety systems information like the A7's multitude of adaptive drive assist systems, intersection crossing alerts, lane change assist, and parking system plus. But is it easy to use?
Well, with so much depth of ability, it can take a bit of getting used to, but once you know what buttons do what and what functionality does what, it's excellent.
The steering wheel buttons that control the virtual cockpit are placed very intuitively with what's actually happening on the screen. And even though they're plastic, they still feel very nice to use.
This star button is configurable to do, well, pretty much anything. In this case, I've got it set up so it activates the front-facing camera. So rather than having to scroll through menus to get to the camera, I simply press the button, camera comes up. Simple. Now to this gorgeous center console.
The top 10.1-inch screen looks after media, car settings, navigation, and a host of other settings, while the lower 8.6-inch display looks after climate control, button shortcuts, and text input. When it comes to the center console, gone is a rotary controller or a carpet-bombed array of buttons. Instead, you're greeted with these two gorgeous screens, both featuring haptic feedback.
Adam, what the hell is haptic feedback? Well, look, I'm really glad you asked. What it is that when you push a selection on the screen, you can actually feel and hear a click, like you're pushing an actual button when you're not actually pushing a button, but it feels like you're pushing a button. So cool.
While I do love the haptic feedback, it does take a few goes to get accustomed to actually having to press the screen. I think we're also used to the sensitivity of our phones and tablets that having to really press the screen takes some getting used to. But the positive spin on this is that it's very hard to make a wrong selection. Swiping or scrolling versus actually selecting all require very different levels of force. The actual user experience of the top screen is excellent. Nothing feels more than a couple of taps away, and the actual operation is really intuitive, even when you're unfamiliar with what's what. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto pair effortlessly and perform faultlessly. And where some other infotainment systems can get confused when jumping between the native systems and the smartphone operations, the Audi handles multitasking with ease.
One final detail about the top screen before we move to the bottom screen is that this car being in a right-hand drive market means that these favourite buttons are on the right-hand side of the screen. If you're in the left-hand drive market, the buttons will be on the left-hand side of the screen. It's a nice little detail from the guys at Audi.
While the bottom screen will spend the majority of its time controlling the climate, it also houses configurable favourite buttons similar to the star button on the steering wheel, and it can be used to input text.
First up, climate change. Obviously you can just tap your desired temperature and fan speed, or you can scroll your finger up and down to do the same thing, or you can use voice command to achieve the same result. I'm hot.
What temperature would you like to set?
16 degrees.
I'll lower the temperature to 16 degrees.
And you can also use voice command to operation, navigation and other settings. I'm hungry.
Searching for restaurant along the route. Could you say the line number, please?
A lot of voice command systems can be a little bit dodgy, but this Audi system's fantastic. Even when I'm in my deepest mumble modes, it seems to sort out what I'm trying to say.
The lower screen can display a keyboard, but inputting text this way will require your eyes to be on the screen and not on the road, and this is dangerous. So you can use the screen to write your command, but even better, you don't have to wait until the car identifies each individual letter. Just keep writing, creating a Jackson Pollock style squiggle, and the Audi will decipher your mess into the word you have just written.
Brilliant if, like me, you're left-handed, but if you're right-handed, this is going to give your ambidextrous skills a bit of a workout. If that's a good or a bad thing is really up to you, but it's one of the rare occasions in life that being left-handed is an advantage. Oh, and the 705 watt 16 speaker Bang & Olufsen hi-fi system just sounds incredible. And speaking of incredible, this interior, it's stunning. It just looks gorgeous. And the way that the screen's integrated into the design, top notch. So the final verdict on the A7's infotainment system, look, with so much depth of ability and what this thing is even capable of is just incredible. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you're used to it, this is about as good as it gets.